Welcome to Module 1 of our Orientation to Intercountry Adoption training. I'm excited to have you join our adoption team. And if you are participating in this training, I'm doubly excited because of your expertise that you bring to the table when working some of these more complex cases that we find in the intercountry realm. My name is Catherine Murray Carella. I'm the founder and the executive director of Premier Adoption Agency. And this is the first of 3 orientation modules that will introduce you to who we are, what we do, and the professional standards that guide the work that we do on a day-to-day basis. So whether you're a social worker, case manager, a coordinator, or support staff, you play an important role in helping children and families come together. Throughout this module, I will introduce you to our agency's history, our mission, our leadership, and the services we provide so that you have a solid understanding of our organization and learn about that before moving into the more Hague-specific training. So before we begin, let's review what you'll learn today. By the end of this module, you should understand our agency's mission, our values, how we're organized, the adoption services we provide, and the expectations that we have for you and have for every single one of our employees. My goal is for you to leave this module today feeling confident about where you fit in within the organization and how your work supports ethical adoption practice. First, just a few housekeeping items. This orientation is the beginning of your Hague training journey. Once you complete all 3 modules, you'll receive a certificate of completion. So just send me an email and let me know you've finished everything, and I will mail you a certificate. If you're a social worker, it is a continuing education credit certificate, which can be used towards your relicensing, which is exciting. And after that, then you're going to move into the National Council for Adoption's Intercountry Adoption Journey course. That is a 10-credit course, 10-hour course, which will provide you with more in-depth training. So please remember to send me your completion certificates once you are finished so that we can maintain your accurate personnel training records. This course taught by the National Council for Adoption is a paid course. And so we ask you to please go ahead and pay for that at first and then email me your receipt, and I'll make sure that that gets turned back around to you. Every organization has a story. So I guess this is my story to tell. I founded Premier Adoption Agency in 1999, back in the 1900s. After many years in the intercountry and the domestic adoption space. Throughout my career, I was able to see firsthand how important it is for safe and permanent families, how important they are to a child's well-being. And those experiences that I had inspired me to create an agency that's built on ethical practice, compassion, and professionalism. Although we've grown substantially far beyond what I could have ever imagined when I started. We've grown into a Hague-accredited agencies. We're licensed in several states, but our mission remains the same, which is completing families. I love this phrase. I loved it so much that I got it federally trademarked. So you will see it on a lot of our outreach materials, but I believe that it really sums up who we are as an organization and what we do. We bring together suitable families and children in need of permanency and create miracles. So I hope that you'll carry this mission with you in every interaction that you have with your clients so that we can spread the good word that way. Let's talk a little bit about our mission statement and our goals. So our mission is very simple. It's to create families, complete families through ethical, compassionate, and professional adoption services. Notice that our mission doesn't focus on paperwork or transactions, although the paperwork portion is incredibly important, but it focuses on people. Every decision you make should honor the dignity of the birth parents that we work with, protect the best interests of the children who are resulting from that, and support our adoptive families with honesty and compassion. When faced with a difficult decision, you can always come back to this mission statement. We will always back you up as an agency if you're abiding by this. This is a lot of writing, and it's probably small for you to see, but what it is our organizational chart and lines of authority. So what this chart represents, what I want you to be able to see, is that we have a board of directors that governs our organization. Underneath that is me. I am in blue with the CEO. And then in small green writing, you'll see the words clinical skills and judgment, which is a significant term used under the Hague Convention for intercountry adoptions, which we will get to in a few minutes. But over on the left-hand side, you'll see the social work department, and they're all in green because all of them are delivering services which require clinical skills and judgment. Then you go straight down from me in purple. That is our operations. That's where our accounting department lives and where our admin team resides. And then over on the right-hand side is our case management team. So I want to introduce you just briefly to the point people on our team that will make your onboarding and your experience with us much more pleasant. I know it's always difficult when you start someplace new, and always the question is, who can I ask questions to? So here are our key players. So I, of course, like I mentioned, serve as the executive director, and I oversee our entire social services department and our divisions. So if you have any questions, please send those emails and questions directly to me. But over on the left-hand side, that's Isabel Pantalaki. She is our director of operations. And that is very important for you to know because she oversees all of our cases and is the person who keeps track of everything, ensuring that our paperwork is submitted timely, that it's correct, and is the one that provides some of our training for onboarding. So over on the right-hand side is Thomas Trujillo. He is our home study coordinator. And if you are providing home study services for intercountry adoptions, he is your point person because he is the one who assigns cases and will help answer a lot of the questions that you have regarding those studies. And then on the left-hand side, we've got Sylvia, who heads up our accounting department. So for your employment agreement, contract, she is the one who receives your invoices, reviews those, and sends out payment on those. So any questions about, hey, do I get mileage reimbursement? Anything like that goes directly to Sylvia. Okay, so our board of directors provides oversight and governance for our agency. They help establish policies, ensure financial stewardship, and support our long-term mission. They are not involved in our day-to-day operations, but I meet with them on a quarterly basis and will bring issues to them, items that require decisions and oversight. So they primarily exist to provide us with some accountability and guidance and making sure that we continue to operate ethically and responsibly. Premier Adoption Agency is licensed in 3 states. We're licensed in the states of Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. Each of these states has their own separate adoption laws. So part of our responsibility is understanding both the federal, which are the Hague intercountry adoption requirements, as well as how they intersect with state laws and how they apply to each case we have. So we will explain those legal differences in more detail during module 1, but I just wanted you to identify the state where you hold your license so that you will be aware that we are going to be addressing those specific questions a little bit later. We offer a full range of adoption services here at Premier. These include domestic infant adoption, outgoing intercountry adoption, home studies, counseling, parent education, post-placement supervision, and post-adoption support. Every service is designed to promote safe, ethical, and child-centered adoption practice. So no matter what your position is, your work contributes to these outcomes. So circling back to this term that's very important when understanding the Hague standards, clinical skills and judgment. So how the standards define this is that it applies to all services that are provided, which require clinical decision-making and just a higher level of assessment and determination. So you must have sufficient education, training, and experience to be able to be hired for a position that does require clinical skills and judgment. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to be said about this other than it's really important that this is actually a compliment if you have been hired by us, and this is for Hague services, because clinical skills and judgment is how we determine whether families are suitable to adopt children and whether the children that need to be adopted are going to be placed in the best situations, which will comply with really just assuming the best interests of the children. That's what it comes down to, is ensuring that we always have their best interests in mind. And these assessments that we conduct are ultimately going to benefit these children. All right, so the services that we provide, which qualify under clinical skills and judgment, are home studies, child background studies, any counseling services provided to our prospective adoptive parents, parent preparation, post-placement services, and anything similar to that. Okay, I think it's important to talk about what our agency expectations are for you. First of all, professionalism. We expect that from everyone. That professionalism includes maintaining confidentiality, documenting on time and accurately, following our agency policies, treating everyone respectfully, and participating in continuing education if you hold a license. So Hague standards require ongoing professional development if you are a social worker, because learning doesn't end at the end of this orientation, but it does continue throughout the rest of your career. So in the states of Utah and Nevada, licensed social workers must hold a license in order to practice. And under that, there are 30 hours of continuing education credits. The state of Arizona is slightly different in that they do not require that you hold a license in social work, but they require that you have a degree in social work and have sufficient experience to perform the job responsibilities that you're required to perform. So they do not require continuing education credits, although if you provide clinical skills and judgment as a social worker and you're in Arizona, please know you need to have 30 continuing education credits every 2 years in the area of adoption. So occasionally I will just send out an email to everybody if there's a free training that I see or something that's really inexpensive, because I know it can add up over time. But just knowing 20 hours a year, 15 hours a year should do it. Okay, well, because you do receive continuing education credits for these 3 Hague modules, I am required to do a little bit of a knowledge check at the end. So let's see what you've learned. Send me an email. So I'll read the question. And then when you send me an email that says, hey, Kat, I completed module 1, just provide me with these responses. Number 1, what year was Premier Adoption Agency founded? Number 2, what is the agency's tagline? It is federally trademarked. Number 3, name the 3 states where Premier is licensed. And number 4, just name 2 types of adoption services that Premier provides. Okay, that completes the end of module 1. So the next step is to go on to module 2, and I will see you there. Thank you.